I want to begin by giving Memphis credit. I thought they played extremely hard, determined basketball, and came up with big offensive rebounds at the right times. But also very proud of our group. We battled, we fought. We need to clean a few things up as we see these guys within the next couple weeks. But back to the drawing board. But overall, pleased with our effort. We've just got to take care of the basketball and be a little more physical with our blockouts.
Hey, Coach, I know this is the first year in your tournament. I know you played Memphis last year in tournament. What's your what's your thoughts on the conference and your battle this year doing conference play?
It's been a very competitive season throughout, and it's been sold-out arena. We played in front of sold-out crowds, sellout crowds, great atmospheres, and tonight was no different. The city of Memphis was loud. They impacted the game. But it's been fun because every game has been so competitive. And when you turn on the TV, the nights you don't play, you typically see a game that goes to the wire.
Coach, what was David Jones able to do in the second half that he wasn't really able to do in the first? He only was 2 of 7 with 5 points in the first half, and then the second half he had 20 points in the second half, 6-13.
Well, he has such an ability to find creases, and he does a great job of initiating the contact and playing off of that contact. But I thought he was extremely powerful in the paint when he was able to get the rebounds. There are a lot of college basketball players that are able to get offensive rebounds and not convert in crowds, and he was able to do that at a high level tonight. I thought once we had our defense set, I thought we did a solid job on him, but he was able to get out in transition and the open court. He's a freight train. He's coming at you with a head of steam, and he's tough to defend.
The possession there with 40-some-odd seconds left, what were you looking for there, and sort of what did you see play out on that where you had the chance to tie it or cut it to one? We
wanted to get downhill in a broken floor. Anytime a team picks you up full court and you've got to weigh the decision, do you try to attack with 94 feet or do you want to attack against 35 feet? And we chose to attack against 90 feet.
Vlad, that's now 4 or 5 games now with 20-plus points. What has been going right for you, and how do you try to build on that going forward?
After one of the last game, I talked to coach, and we saw how I started the season and how it was going on, and we obviously saw some difference, how I played, how I play now, and we just agreed I need to be more physical. That's what I try to do, and that's what I keep doing.
Hey, Coach, Vlad, 9 for 9, 8 rebounds. What has he meant for this team this year?
He's been amazing. I mean, he had a brief stretch where he was nursing some minor injuries, and anytime you're banged up, it's tough to play with the physicality and athleticism that this level requires. We've got to find a way to get him the ball in a little more organically because when we drop sets, he draws so much attention, and then we were able to use that tension and spray it out for threes. We weren't able to knock those down tonight. I thought we had some great looks that rimmed in and out, but his presence in the paint, his physicality, his rim protection, he's the cog that's allowed this to happen, especially as small as we're able to play. So if he continues like this, I see several more double-double type performances in his future.
Dusty, you're not totally unfamiliar with Naquan Tomlin. Obviously, you saw him in the tournament last year. But was he a different player today than what you'd seen on film of him so far this season? Because and then just kind of talk about what he did today that gave you guys fits.
When you watch film, it's difficult to see a guy's spirit. And I thought tonight he had I could count 10 to 20 invisible plays that we had an advantage, and because of his length, and they're not just deflections. If they're deflections that take away prevent a layup, then it's almost like there's 2 deflections. I thought his activity, his ability to roam around, and Vlad was fighting one-on-one in the post, and every time I tried to get us organized, it was Tomlin coming in from behind for double teams, for random plays, almost playing like a safety. And like I said, we weren't able to make them pay on the second side as often. We liked the looks we got. We just weren't able to knock them down and give Vlad a little more space.
Any Zoom questions?
Hey, Coach. Golden obviously had a great game, but it kind of took a while for some of the players on the perimeter to get going. What can the team do better to improve the half-court offense when teams are placing such an emphasis to stop you guys from getting buckets in transition?
Well, Memphis does a great job of pressing and trapping, and so they don't allow you to get extremely organized. We have to do a better job of looking for him as we're in the flow of the game. And sometimes it's not the first side, it's the second side. So even a lot of our ball screen offenses, the first side is simply a smoke screen to maybe get them off balance a little bit and then find ways. But we've got to look for him more. But once again, they did a nice job. When he caught it on the short roll, he had multiple bodies there. I thought he finished through contact on a couple of them, drew a few fouls. And so it was difficult, and they were changing coverages so frequently. But they're not the prototypical team where they're going to come down in a set half court. And so to beat them, in our opinion, you have to be able to play on the fly and make decisions almost in double speed because they're so fast and so athletic. We didn't do a very good job of, I should say, we caught ourselves over-penetrating a few times where we got too deep as opposed to just stopping once they leveled us off and then respacing and relocating. And, their length and athleticism and intensity causes teams to do that.
Coach May, and just a final question from me. It seemed like, with this being, I believe, a 4-point game, a 4-point loss, it seems like the turnovers were kind of the story for you guys, a couple of careless ones. Maybe like just watching the game. Speaking about the press and the trap that they were giving, just what were your thoughts on the turnovers from you guys this game?
Obviously, we knew coming into the game they're one of the best teams in the country at forcing turnovers and offensive rebounding. So those were the two keys, and we weren't able to execute those two things well enough to win. But it's not as if they were all unforced. There were a few unforced turnovers or poor decision turnovers, but there were also some that were caused because they are extremely tall, long, athletic. I can go on. If you need any more analogies, then I could go on. But they forced some of them, and there were a few of ours that were simply just, I think, bad decisions.
Two more Zoom.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Coach, despite the tough loss today, you guys do have a couple of days of rest to regain your energies, then get your preparation ready for Tulane on Saturday. What's going to be the most important thing for you guys to emphasize on while you guys recover from today and just keep the preparation as much as prepared as possible for Tulane on Saturday?
We'll focus on getting our bodies right and finding the right level of spirit, intensity, togetherness that we're going to need down the stretch. It's late February. These guys, Memphis's guys, they've been through a long and grinding road. And this time of year, if you can find the energy, the juice, the enjoyment of coming to work every single day, then you usually finish pretty strong. And we have a lot of really, really good players in our locker room that have great substance, and they're going to want to fix and correct what went wrong today. And then, we all have a growth mindset. We're all about improving. Obviously, this one stings, but we're not going to dwell on it. We're moving on to the next thing. And like I said, it's to get our bodies right and get our minds right, ready for a extremely tough stretch for all of us.
Last Zoom question.
Coach, so now essentially the regular season race is, probably something that's going to be elude you guys. How do you've always been a goal-oriented team. All of our goals are still in front of us. That probably is not in front of you anymore. Is there any reset in terms of where your team's head is as you go forward?
To be honest, our goal is to win every single game, every single night. So we've failed at that goal a few times this year. We're gonna try to play our best basketball when it means the most, conference tournament and NCAA tournament, hopefully, and just continue trying to improve. But absolutely, the conference championship, it wasn't as if we were simply playing for that one goal or one objective. So, but absolutely, are we disappointed that we're not? These last couple games mean more as far as a regular season championship? Absolutely, but we have a lot of goals and a lot of basketball in front of us.
Last question.
And you guys last season, knocked Memphis off in the tournament, and then this season, just faced them for the first time and took a loss. So, do you see kind of a rivalry brewing between these two teams, especially with the postseason meeting last year ending with you guys?
People get so sensitive with the word rivalry these days. I don't know if it's just the social media era or what. As long as we both field very competitive basketball teams and guys that we've had these last couple of years, then I can see these games being extremely interesting going forward. The rivalries typically take time to develop and they happen organically. I don't think any one person is going to say this is or isn't. They just kind of happen, right? Usually proximity is the case, or a good, healthy, competitive spirit and competition. So hopefully that means we're competing at a high level, because if you follow the tradition of the Memphis Tigers, it's long and it's storied.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Vlad.
Thank you, guys.